Well, I want to say welcome to everyone. This is the YouTube Mile Builders live show for March. We are in the spring break now. And want to introduce the guests that we have here tonight. We've got Ron Perry, Al Mayo, and Mr. Big Bill is going to be the host tonight. And here's Bill.
I think I like John better than I like Barry on this, because Barry really builds me up like I'm actually a legend in my own mind. Anyway, I want to thank Al and I want to thank Ron for coming. This is the YouTube Model Builder Show for March 19, 2016, and we're going to have a real good show. We got Al Mayo and we got Ron Perry on the show. Did I say that right again, Ron? Me and you having this thing with your name, bro.
It's all good. I love it now. I've embraced it. I've embraced it.
Yeah.
Ah, come on, Tabernacle.
But anyway, just want to thank Ron and Al for being on this show. First of all, let me get to Al Mayo, because we had, if you don't mind, Ron, we had Ron on a couple of times, and this is our first time with Al. Al, you know, I met you up at Springfield, and everything that everybody ever said about you wasn't true. You're really a hell of a nice guy, and I just wanted you to know that. You were very affordable guy. You just were so friendly, and Darius was thumbs up, man. If anybody's ever seen Al Mayo's videos, Darius is like, what a great.
He's a staple in every video. A lot of them.
He is, absolutely, and I think people just came by the booth at Springfield just to see you. I mean, just to see Darius and your family. It was so nice to see them, and I'm so happy. We're so happy that you were able to be on the show, and greatly appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, so how was Springfield for you? How did that was your first time up there, right?
Yeah, it was my first time up there as a vendor for the Monster LEDs, and it was a success for me. I'm a one-man operation, so you know I was able to set this up within a year to have a spot, everything I needed, enough product, the new sign. Just all that was a lot of work, but you know I delegated it to so many different people to take care of it for me, you know. And by the time the show was coming up, I was ready, and it was a success. Sold nearly 60 kits, and that's good for me. You know, 60 kits in 15 hours is the total time of the show, so very good success.
Yeah, it seemed like I was saying earlier before we went on the air, there were a lot of people that were coming up to you when I was just standing there for about 10, 15 minutes, and I was trying. You just had come back to get something to eat for the family, and in between chowing down, people were like coming up to you and like, you know.
Yeah, it was crazy because, you know, it was packed from the moment of the morning to the end on Saturday, and Sunday was just about the same, but there wasn't as many people, but it was still ongoing and ongoing. And I found it hard just to step away because so many people were coming through. I would normally have a raspy voice, but by the time the show was over, my voice was killed, you know. So it was a good show. I had a lot of good time, did a lot of meeting people, taking pictures too, which is pretty cool, and making videos as well.
Will you be doing it again next year?
So far, I'm planning to do it again. Yep, that's the plan. I don't see anything changing. I'll be in the same location, and I'll be there.
Did you get to walk around any at all?
Very short time. I think it was less than 2 hours. So I didn't get to do much of what I wanted to. I didn't look around, see anything I wanted to buy. I bought one thing that was already planned for it, which was this brass locomotive here.
Oh, sweet.
Ooh, nice.
That was the only thing I bought at the show. I actually planned to buy that, picked it up, and that was it. No other purchases. So.
Oh, that's good. So, just Ron, long time no see, my friend.
I'm here.
How are you?
Pretty good. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. I know that we communicated on the email, and I do really want to get to it. I want to know about this children's hospital thing that you're doing.
Right now? Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Trains for kids. Last year, I was inspired by a gentleman doing the the Operation Christmas train set, and he was giving away layouts to kids and stuff like that. And I was like, well, you know, you try to get on TV, give away to a couple hospitals and stuff like that. Well, I'm Canadian, and I, you know, got some flack for talking about that, saying because down in the States, I guess children's hospitals are like rich organizations and have all kinds of stuff or something like that. But in Canada, it's totally different. These kids really don't have a lot while they're in the hospital, and you know, I think that, you know, having a layout out there at the hospital for them to play with while they're there, it's built rock solid so that these kids can actually get hands-on and play with it. So I don't know. I think it's a good thing to do, and I think it's outreach to the hobby. You know, maybe a brother or sister, or when they get out of the hospital, they remember this. I was contacted on Facebook today about a kid who had a layout given to him while he was in the hospital, and he said, you know, this was a great thing. So it's all good.
Is the layout itself? Is it equipped to like be like a DCC? Oh, that's it.
Yeah, right there.
Very nice. So that's the basic component of it, and then you just add the scenery and the track.
Yeah, I've got this mill here that I built for it, and it's going in the middle of it. And actually, James Wright is he has a copy of this mill that I built for him, and he's putting it on his layout too.
Oh, for those that don't know, that Ron is also an expert craftsman. Building buildings. He's actually, that's how I first met Ron about 2 years ago. He was doing some kits on and I got to meet him that way, and he does some fantastic work, really some detailed work, Ron.
Thank you.
So with that said, with your guys' collective together, you know, in your hobby, since you're not like, well, what's the word I'm using? You're not old school hobbyists. You're kind of like new school, cutting edge kind of guys out there. Where do you see the hobby right now, and do you think it's going to grow? Because we're hearing a lot of naysayers out there saying, you know, the hobby's dying, the hobby's dying, the hobby's dying.
Go ahead, Al.
Well, is the hobby dying? I don't know. The hobby's getting expensive, more expensive. I don't know if it's dying. I just don't see us bringing in many youth, because it's not presented to the youth. It's presented to old grumpy men. Excuse me.
That's all right. That's all right.
That's where it's presented to, and that's what it's targeted at. So people used to make fun of me back in the day. You know, all your viewers are kids and da 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 da, like it was a bad thing. And I thought, this is how ignorance is.
Yeah.
Good thing. I like that the younger youth are watching my videos, and they watch it and they enjoy it. You know, a lot of grown people do too. But it's good that the next generation are watching my videos. That's good. I don't know if it's dying, though. I guess time will tell. I'm just not really sure, you know. I'm not doing the numbers to exactly know if it's dying or doing well. I'm not a manufacturer as far as selling the trains. They should know, but they would never tell us.
I think that there's many levels to the hobby to consider before you start saying that the whole hobby's dying, because I think that there's parts of the hobby that are just, you know, out of control. Like Al said, the cost of the hobby is, you know, went out of control for a while there. Now manufacturers like Scale Trains and Rapido have, well, Rapido just announced that they're coming out with a lower cost line, and you know, so they've noticed these things, and yes, they're expensive, but I just built a layout, and you know, it doesn't really cost a lot to do scenery, you know, and sure, it does cost a lot to buy a craftsman kit if you're going all out for kits. You know, people buy all out on their trains, so if they buy all out on kits, a small layout, what I just showed you, might house one craftsman kit, you know, and if you have a small layout like that, you can just go to town on it and, you know, learn a ton from it. Or you could use a small $20 kit like I just showed right here, and it's like the showpiece of the model, and it's $20 for the kit, you know, and it just kind of scenic 4 feet.
Well, I could add to that as well. One thing that I've noticed through the hobby is that I'm the alternative to doing videos showing you, oh, I use Woodland Scenic, Scenic Express, all these common methods that everyone uses. Well, I use the alternate methods. Like I'm showing everybody the other way to do it, the cheaper way, but the results are the same. So if you're not stuck with spending $10, $11 for a bottle of I don't even know what it's called, but there's some kind of like cement, water cement. If you're not into spending $11 for it, I'm going to show you how to make it out of Elmer's glue in some sense or whatever it may be. I'm showing the alternative to spending the high prices to build a train layout. So that's what I specialize in.
So sometimes it's buying a product and then after the fact using some alternative to work with it, like to extend it, like I've got not with Scenic Express ground coverings, right? But I'm painting the ground cover underneath it and stuff like that, and that extends how far I can use this stuff. Using cheap methods and stuff like that. So bringing the cost of the hobby down is not really. People focus on how much a train model is these days, and that's really where the cost factor comes in, but if you're building models or actively building structures and stuff like that, there's a totally different scene in the hobby because it costs less. Like if you're going to operate trains, you're going to have a hefty bill on your hands, but there's so many other facets of the hobby.
That's true. I agree, and I have to say that one of the things that in the beginning, Al, when I saw your videos, you may not think it was a big component, but for me, it was. And one of the components is I used to watch your son Darius on the videos while you used to talk. I used to watch him in the background, and you really. As a dad, I'm a dad. My son's older; he's 35 now. But as a dad, you give Darius you gave him a lot of freedom on your layout, which you don't see in guys doing their layout. When you see them doing videos of their layout, you hardly ever see the kids involved. And I used to watch Darius behind you, and I remember one time you were standing in that corner piece, and Darius was behind you on a chair. This is when he was much younger, and he's taking your very, very, very expensive engines, your UPs and your Southern Pacifics, and he's like putting them on the rail, and he did it so expertly.
Yeah, you think.
I remember commenting and saying in your comment section that the old school guys were probably jumping out of their chairs at the screen, yelling at Darius to be careful. And meanwhile, you're over there, like, well, this is what I did with this, how I weathered it, and there's Darius, like, So I think you've incorporated and your sense, and like with Ron has come up with also the making his own washes, and did that. You came up with, I remember watching the video of making your own hostess for your controllers out of the electrical boxes.
Oh, yes. Setting those up.
Yeah, so, I mean, as far, I guess I take exception to the old grumpy old men because I'm one of those old grumpy old men, and I think that, not that I take exception or offended by it, but I think what happens is to old grumpy old men like myself is that I was brought up in the hobby in a certain way. I came through it, literally by accident because I was injured back in the late 70s, early 80s, and my wife says, you need to do something because I can't stand you sitting around here. So you got to get a hobby. So I got into it, and how it was passed on to me was, how it was done. And I think anything new that comes along. And you guys are absolutely right about the price. It can price. You can look at it. And I've had friends of mine saying, "Are you kidding me? That's what you paid for all that track that you have in that room? What are you, crazy?"
Well, track is out of control. Track is literally crazy. When I started building my layout, it always seems like 2 years ago, but when I started it around 10 years ago, I was paying $1.25 for flex track, and it slowly rose up, you know, to 50 whatever over a few years, and then after that it just went skyrocketed to now it's just priced out of control and it's hard to come by. So now, for anybody joining the hobby right now, it's a big investment to, you know, to start a hobby. With me, I could buy 10 pieces of track for $15. You know, now 10 pieces of track is $45, $50. So that's what the big difference is nowadays. You know.
But
Yep.
Al, like you said that you find different ways to make the hobby cheaper for yourself. I made this module here that all the trains that are running on it aren't going to be running through it. So I used a bunch of old brass track on it.
I've done that too. Brass track for turnouts.
Yeah, like it's not going to, like, I can clean it if it needs be, but I'm usually going to be pushing it in by finger on this section to, like, have stuff parked, you know, because it's an engine terminal. So, you know, you really don't have to go all out on the nickel silver stuff on every part of your layout, just maybe the main line.
Yeah.
Well, another thing I always share with everybody too is a lot of people want to use code 83 and 70, and I've always found it pretty crazy that you have this much nickel silver and they give you, and then you get code 83 and they give you less, and then they charge you more. So they take away the nickel silver and they charge you more for code 83. Oh, you want it smaller? Code 70 costs more.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? Everybody just use code 100. You know, don't even worry about. No one looks at your train layout and says, oh, this is cool. You have different size track. One's code 100, one's code 83. No one cares.
Yeah.
But on to Adarius, I put Adarius in the hobby because he was interested into it. And I let Adarius touch and hold everything so I could properly teach him, as opposed to leaving and wondering, oh my God, did he mishandle it? He's a kid. He grabs stuff. If you teach him, you have less of a chance of him breaking something. Now he handles my trains perfectly, and I've always let him handle my brass ones because a brass engine is actually more sturdy than the very best.
One. Yeah.
So that's how he always. In fact, I got this new one today. I got another new brass one today. This is an SD70M Overland, and I just got it in the mail like 5-10 hours ago. And Adarius grabbed it, he handled it, grabbed it out the box. He's like, "Ooh, I like this," and I let him just take it and run around with it.
Right.
I trust him. You know what I'm saying?
That's the big thing. John, are we gonna do the?
Well, we got some in the Q&A here. I thought maybe you might like to give them a few minutes here, real quick.
You got the camera presented on me.
Oh, excuse me, Ron. I've been busy over here in the Q&A and everything.
I didn't want to interrupt anybody.
We love you, Ron. We wanted to see that beard, man. That's
there's nothing that could do.
That's the beard of beards.
Yeah.
That's the next time we see everybody's going to be having one of those. They're going to be growing one.
I look in the mirror and say that to the beard every night.
I'm not going to grow one. That's not going to happen here. I'm pretty clean shaven as a firefighter. It just doesn't work.
Yeah.
Ron Price, good friend Ron from Australia. Nice to see Ron on the other side of the world. Don't worry about the world ending, boys, because it's already tomorrow in Australia. It's good to see that Monster LEDs did well at the show, Big Al. We're going to see when are we going to see some of that sick weathering you do, brother?
Whew. I hope soon, man. Listen, I've been really busy with just life and turning my hobby into a business was a step, and it takes a lot of my time. I mean, for example, just always keeping product going on and being built is a lot of time, and I spend time making LEDs, and I do want to do other projects. Like, I love weathering, had a blast with it, and I still like to do weathering projects. It's just there's not enough time in a day, But let me say this: I want to try to get another weathering video out soon. I have a project over there I want to work on, and I wanted to share that soon. So, give me within the next month, okay?
Okay. And Ron also asked, he says, hey, Ron, he says, I set a challenge on my Facebook page on building a custom rail truck and showed a picture to get the idea out there. I noticed you're the only one that had a go at building it. Please, he wanted you to show it in a future thing, a rail truck. Ron?
Oh, that thing. I thought he was talking to Al. Yeah, I saw a picture on Facebook and hacked apart one of the old transport trucks like this to put actually it's I'm in the shop, so all this stuff is here.
That's what's so good about live technology.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
there's the truck right there.
Oh, nice.
Yes, so I saw a picture on Facebook and said, I got a truck I can do that with. So, got to put on the layout. Doesn't run, of course, but, you know, it's a prop.
That's all. Andrew Gilmore. Andrew's also from Australia, and he's also a Cub Scout leader down. We've had Andrew on our Hangouts. You remember Andrew?
Thumbs up to Scouts.
Andrew says that his Cub Scouts are 6 to 11 years old, and they're building their own layout down there. And I have to say, Andrew does a lot with kids down there, and he does a lot in the community with these kids and with model railroading. So he's good. Blaine Mayfield out in Darius is the star of the show. That's his statement. Curtis Hunt says, good to see you back, Ron. Let's see. Dwight Chrisman asks, but with the price came really great features on models. I remember you guys don't know how terrible old trains ran. You know, so I guess
that's why I don't complain about the price of models. Like, all the models in this is either a BLI or a Rapido. So.
Well, I don't complain too much because it's kind of hard for me to complain when people see that I'm buying, you know, brass.
How much was that
right?
brass model?
So it's hard for me to complain. I'm like, yeah, I bought this right here for $400.
Right.
It's hard for me to complain like, oh man, that new locomotive's $325. And it's a brass locomotive. So it's kind of a catch-22 for me. But I do know it's expensive because I'm still smart enough to see that other people don't spend $400 on locomotives, and $300 is a lot of money.
Right. You know what I always get a kick out of when you're talking to other model is like when you start talking about, you know, like you know, putting something that's essential on your layout, and they always go, yeah, you know, I don't know if I can, you know, that paint is too much money, and the scenery backdrops, that's way over the top. And then the guy goes, yeah, and I just spent $500 on an engine, and you're like, wait a minute.
What?
You're not going to separate $40 out of your pocket? You can't, you know. You know.
Also,
my kid used to deliver the paper, you know, the newspaper, and I used to do the collecting for him. And I used to knock on the door, and I say, it was at the time it was $1.50, and I'd say, I'm here to collect, and the guy they'd always go, I always collected on Monday, you know. And the guy'd have his Mercedes-Benz in the driveway, and he goes, oh, I have no cash on me. And I used to say, listen, do me a favor. Go on the cushions of your couch. I'm sure you can find $1.25 plus a tip. Okay? So I always get amazed when guys are like, you know, yeah, that $40, that's way over the top, you know, for that thing. But then,
well, you know what? My really big complaint to the price of the hobby items, mainly trains, my biggest complaint is the price is so high for a product that's very fragile. So you're dropping pieces like an Athearn. People always get mad at me like, oh, you're not an Athearn fan. Well, I bought a lot of Athearns, and if any Athearn you've owned, like an ST70M, the back of the handrails, you got 4 just like this going down in the pilot area, and they always break. So these are always floating. They're just bad. I mean, you know, when you have a product that costs $200, you don't expect that to happen. If it's going to be $200, you want it to be good. You wouldn't buy an iPhone that was breaking every day, you know? Mm-hmm. That's my gripe.
Here we go, 10:25. I think we got to do the giveaways out, Jim.
I'll wait till you get around to it.
No, and I do this in my family. There's 6 of us in my family. I always get my brothers confused and my sisters. So
my mom always goes through animal names before.
Yeah, there you go. John. That's who it is. It's John. I got it. I'm not stupid. I could have been the head of the family.
I told you.
Oh, and my wife is sitting off to the side, and she told me. So, you have Long Shadow. Are you going to do this, John, or am I going to do it? You do it. You do it.
All right, I'll do it. Let me
rest my throat.
All right, can you still see the page there? 'Cause I'm new to all this.
Yeah.
All right. We've got giveaway number 1. It's going to be the 6HO or N-scale handmade oak trees from Long Shadow Model Trees. That's longshadowmodeltrees.com. if everybody is pretty familiar with Two Toady, he does a really nice job on his trees there. And for giveaway number 2, we have the Precision Design Company joint bars in HO or N scale. That's going to be www.pdc.ca. Those are really nice. There's a couple of people already in the community that are using these. One named by Andy, North and Western. He uses these on his tractor. He's hand laying and wants it all to look prototypical. Then we have Dave's decals, models, decals, and stuff. Your choice of 2 sheets, and that's www.davart.net. And I've been over and looked at his decals. I really need to order some because he's got some really nice looking decals over there. And people that have won them have always been happy with them.
I've used Dave's decals. They're great.
Yeah. All right, here we go. We got the road striping kit from Highways and Byways, Arts, Crafts, and Store. Road striping kit is a package of vinyl stripes for your mile railroad. That's highwaysandbyways.com. If anybody's been watching Gino, he's one of the Tuesday night presenters. He uses a lot of the road striping kit in his layout. Really likes it. He says it takes weathering very well. I think he's also come out with a flashing emergency light kit for police cars and probably some other vehicles too. I know he's got them for the police cars.
And it's not expensive either.
Yeah, you want to check him out. And giveaway number 5 is a punch plate kit from Central Valley Model Works Incorporated. That's a 150-foot HO scale punch plate bridge kit, and that's www.cvmw.com. And that is one nice looking bridge.
That is gorgeous.
I agree.
We just had one of our guys that's a regular in the Hangouts. He just finished building that bridge that he won from a previous show. And it's a nice looking bridge.
Just so you guys know, the viewers out there, I got an email today from both Dave's Decal and from Long Shadow Trees. Long Shadow Trees wants you to know that if you call him on the phone, and place an order with him, you get an automatic 10% discount. And he's lowered his trees, the price of his trees, to $325 for any tree. And that's going to last until March 25th. And Dave's Decals is also giving a 10% discount, but you have to put in the secret double probationary word caboose. It's not case sensitive, so you have to write the word caboose when you pick out your decals from him, so that you'll be able to get the 10% discount. And we're with our guests tonight, Al Mayo and Ron. And Tacky Haywood, another good modeler and a YouTube contributor, he says, Big Al, are you still working on your layout?
I was doing a few projects. I have a Darius down there moving all my cars around, crashing everything over. So I have a lot of repairing to do. What else have I done? I built a few buildings because I have a couple empty spots in my layout. So I built a few buildings, and I want to do a couple videos on installing the buildings. So I have plans going on. I haven't done a lot with my layout, but I've done a lot of little projects. Nothing spectacular like laying a whole track line, main line down. None of that. Just little projects.
Do you think that taking over doing the LEDs, or is it just life in general that has brought you away from the layout? I mean, has the LED, making the monster LEDs things, has it taken a lot of your time where it's, it's like a trade-off?
I think it's more the monster LEDs. I mean, because I always think about trains. I always want to do projects, just things that I'm like, that I just think about, and I'm like, oh, this would be fun to do. But the monster LEDs are big. And then, what I started doing too? I took on a task of actually installing them for some people sometimes, which I don't like to do, and I've taken on that task, and that right there takes up another little time there too. I always try to get people to do it themselves, but some people just insist on sending them to me. That's more time there too.
You just need to train some kids.
That's what I'm saying.
They know how to handle them, right?
I need to train some kids out there to just make the LEDs for me. You know what I'm saying? Just work them in sweatshops or something.
Well, here, do something. Yeah.
Yeah. My oldest daughter, Lynette, she's old enough. She could start doing them.
Yeah, right. How old is she?
21.
Yeah, I don't think so, Al.
Yeah.
My son is. I have a son who's 35 years old, and whenever he comes over and he looks at the layout, he goes, "You're not finished with this yet, Pops." He's the video generation. You're not finished with this yet. When is it going to be finished? I said, Mike, it's not. You got to tinker. It's a tinkering hobby.
It's not a video game. You don't rush through it.
You know.
But if you do trains like I do, it's always a race because I have no patience. Projects, that's no patience at all. I don't wait for glue to dry. I use hot glue. That's what I use.
My nemesis.
None at all. So I got to do it as fast as I can all the time.
Okay. All right. That answers a lot of questions, Al. We can eliminate half these questions right here. You just said it in a nutshell. Hot glue. That's it. End the story.
I like to lay track and run a train.
Round and round and round.
Al, I want to ask you this question, and I don't think it was this. It was the year before. I remember you did a video and you approached Bachmann.
Oh yes, the year before.
Yes.
Yes.
Did you? I'll let you explain it because if I explain it, I wasn't there. You did it. So my question to you is, it's a two-part question. Do you think that was necessary to do and film it, and did you get any blowback from it?
Listen, I think I've been known through this hobby to do things that are unorthodox or whatever, different, and I speak my mind.
Fearless. Yeah,
I'm fearless. I speak my mind. My thought process is things I say will offend some and will appeal to others. I'm not sitting there judging it. I don't care who I'm going to offend. What I said was true, so no one could say, oh, man, that's wrong. You know, they make a great product. See, my issue with Bachmann when I went up to them was I asked them, do you think your MSRP is worth the same price as Athearn and MTH quality-wise? And they came up with like it's somebody else's opinion if it is or not. But I said, is it really? Do you think it is? And they couldn't answer that. But it made me mad because when you put an MSRP at like $300 and you try selling it, and then what the big problem was is you put MSRP at $300, and you go to somewhere like eBay and there's actually a seller there selling it for $300. So it's because of their MSRP, which is just inflated way too much. They know it's a cheap product. It should be what it should be $100. MSRP should be $100. But I'm proud of Walthers for doing it because Walthers make their new locomotives. They're like $125. That is real. They know the value. They didn't inflate it. They're real. So I give them credit for that.
Okay.
Did I get blowback? Some people said some stuff. Most people laughed about it. Bachmann didn't like it, but oh well. I offend anybody.
So you're on their Christmas list anymore?
Yeah, I don't think I ever was.
He's probably not in with the elites.
Yeah, no. See, I'm not that guy doing a video saying, what we have here is a great product as it falls apart in my hand. What I say is, this product sucks. That's why I buy everything. That's why I buy my models when I do the reviews. So when I offend the manufacturer, they can't say, oh my God, we just sent this to him for free and he's crapping on us. Nor do I feel obligated that if I get something sent for free, it's natural. It's 100% natural, but it happens. If someone gives you something for free to review it, you'll naturally say nice things about it. You won't say, oh, this thing sucks, and turn around and look at them and say, hey, send me some more stuff. That won't happen. So that's why I buy them and I say what I want.
many train manufacturers don't give out trains for free. They actually ask you to send them back. So it's kind of like why I didn't get into that kind of racket.
Yeah, if they sent me something and it wasn't going back, if it's meant to be reviewed, if it was,
There's a lot of work involved with studying a product and, you know, judging its worth, you know, and then when you do something like you do and say the truth about a product, you have to deal with the flack, and nobody out there gives any credit to somebody who's got the shoulders to take the flack.
Yeah. Well, the good thing is when you pay for it, you can say what you want. So when I pay for something and people know I pay for it, they know that what I'm saying is true. It's my money. You know what I'm saying? It's not like I got it for free and then you would say, oh, how much was that? Well, it cost this amount in the stores, but I got this one for free. Well, then you can't kind of take my word for it. I mean, you would hope I'm being honest, but you kind of really wouldn't get the real truth out of me. But when I pay for it, you're going to get the truth. I'm going to say, oh, man, I like this, and it's worth the deal. I paid $39. Or I'm going to say,
but let me play devil's advocate here, and let me ask a question. When you did that thing on Bachmann, and I remember watching it, when you asked them, do they really honestly believe that this is worth $300, and you pan the camera to them, and they're wearing shirts that said Bachmann, did you honestly expect them to say, yeah, Al, you're absolutely right, this actually sucks, you know? I mean,
I wouldn't expect them to say it sucks, but I figured I'd put them on the spot.
You did, because watch what their answer. If you go back to that video and you watch, they're stammering.
Yeah, well, you know, you catch them off guard. I do them just like the newscasters do them. I catch you off guard. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, well, I think by now when people see you coming with the camcorder, they either like throw the curtain in front of the booth and go out to lunch.
They run or put on their A game.
They just say, yeah, no comment.
With me, what never happens is I never put the camera down and say, hi, guys, I'm Al. I'm going to do a video. I'm going to ask these questions. Okay, we're going to start the video. Let's go. That never happened.
No,
I'm starting the video as I'm walking up, so you're seeing everything in real time. My questions and everything.
But then talking about reviews, though, you know, like I get kits where I have to build the kit, you know, and I really don't review the product, but I get it for free. And I spend probably about 30 hours sometimes building these kits. Well, sometimes it's a resin kit like one of the boats that takes about 12 hours, but it's time, you know. So there's value for getting review products and stuff like that. Like, you know, the cost of trains is so small in the hobby. You know, it's kind of frustrating to hear about the trains all the time because what did they run on, you know? You know, they don't all go on the shelf. You know what I mean? Like as like a picture on the wall. They're not like an art piece. They're like a functional.
Yeah, but you know what? But to this point today, and if you go on other people's YouTube, you'll see them, especially with the Heritage Collection from Intermountain, and a lot of these guys they put them in curio cabinets.
Yeah.
Displayed as art pieces.
Derek Glass has a collection that, you know, is
yes, he has an
beautiful.
Exactly, and off the charts.
Yeah.
Thing. So
listen, I call them you're collectors, and people get offended by it. If you got trains in display cases, you're a collector. Just admit it and accept it. I run my trains top speed. I have Overland models on my layout highballing. They literally go top speed, like, you know, and sometimes I bump into other trains. I have fun with it. I have a blast. But I get some products. Sometimes I ask manufacturers for the first item, and I pay for them. Like, literally, it happens like that. Like Spring Models or Spring Depot, I paid them for the first couple models so I could do a review. Like, straight up. I was like, yo, when they come in, I want the first ones. Let me pay you now. And I did. I'm a huge fan of scale trains because of the guys coming from Ather, and I like them a lot. They sent me a couple kits right here for free. They did send them to me for free, and I would tell people straight up, I wanted to do a review on them anyway, but these ones were free, and I appreciate it, but, you know, I haven't done a video yet, but I also have a video review on the new Walthers ST70 ACE I have to work on, and I bought that one as well. So if I didn't like it, I can cut it up and not feel bad about it.
Yeah, cutting up trains seems to be something you really. I love when you do that. bandsaw. It's like.
But actually, being the price that it is for these scale trains, I'm sure that Al would put that into the equation when he's reviewing the product.
Yeah, well, I would say like these are kits, so these are $15. So I tell them all the time, it's for you to make a decision. You look at what I present to you. My opinion's this, but then now it's the ball's in your court to either buy it or not buy it. To say I did a great job and you agree with me or disagree with me. I'm not putting pressure on anyone. I tell them how I feel, but some people feel opposite ways.
No, I agree. I think you hit the nail right on the head. I really do. And again, it's a you're doing a YouTube video and you're not doing that kind of where you get that feedback, because you get it on the comments underneath, and whether you pay attention to the comments or you don't pay attention to them, it's hard to, again, it's hard to communicate that way through the keyboard, because you're not getting, like here we are on a video chat and everybody's seeing us. You can see the reflection, what we're talking, how we're talking. It's not mean-spirited. It's not being sarcastic. We're just exchanging ideas. But it's hard to do that, So I'm sure in that sense, people, write stuff and or the way it's deemed, and it comes back a little. That's why I don't like emailing and texting. Texting's only good for, honey, don't forget to bring ice cream.
Yeah, you're right. Text doesn't have emotion.
No. Phil Wyman wants to know, for both guests, what is the most challenging part to model on your layout? That would be Al. And Al.
For me, the most challenging part? Shoot. I really can't think about it. I don't know what's the most challenging, because I try so many different ways. So like building a mountain isn't challenging because there's many different ways to do it. You can use foam, you can use chicken wire, you can use newspaper, and I've done each way. So I have learned each way. There's nothing that's been really too challenging that I could think of. Maybe laying track perfectly is probably the only really hardest part. And super elevating track, those are probably two of the only really hardest part that I've come with. Everything else is just using your imagination, which comes naturally for me because I have a wild imagination, and I also notice I have a high, what's the way to put it? I really see details in life, so I actually model those details that I see, like cracks, not just cracks in the road, but repairs to the road. And as I get these ideas, I just do them. They're not challenging. They're just fun to do, to recreate.
Yeah. Blaine Mayfield wants to know, how do you deal with the broken peeling handrails on recent Athearn engines?
Hey, those are the worst. I understand that too. Break them off? No. What do? I always
buy aftermarket parts.
Yeah, I don't do the aftermarket stuff too because it's annoying. But let me tell you want to know what to do about those? Buy a brass locomotive. This is how I fix my Athearn. I fixed one Athearn. It's to go on, the other one comes off. But,
there you go.
Seriously, I actually have just regular white paint on my desk, and always painting it all the time. The chipping of the paint is a pain, and it's uncalled for. But my biggest gripe is actually the handrails breaking off. That irks me.
Yeah. I do get that. Yeah.
That's the worst thing.
I do get that. Jennifer Constantino, hello, Jen. We haven't seen you in a while. We're a good favorite coming back on the Hangouts. Hope to see you soon. But Dave's decals, he says, are so wonderful. You would go into his site, you'll be scratching your head because you'll have trouble deciding, and his prices are so fantastic. I'm sure Dave is going to send you a complimentary sheet just for that.
And send you the bill.
And send you the bill. Ray Bobel. Hey, Ray. Good to see you, brother. He says, I still have and run the old, quote, unquote, old equipment. I go by what my dad says. You take care of it, it will take care of you. The most expensive logo I have is a $200 Montoya.
I use the old locomotives too.
There you go. Look at that.
Yeah, my microphone broke.
There you go.
What did he say? $200 Mantua? Tyco?
That's what he's saying here.
Oh man, he got robbed. $200? Wow, that's expensive.
Ron from Down Under, from Australia, he says, the one thing I like about Big Al's reviews was he was honest about the model he was showing. Yes.
That's it. That's all I could do. Be honest. If I don't like it, I'm going to tell you. If I like it, I'm going to tell you. So you're always going to get the true opinion, you know, and it's basically because I've wanted to always, you know what, the real big cause of that was because back in the day I'd always read the Model Railroader magazine, and when you read it and then you know how a product is, then you read their review. Oh my God, it's annoying when you see them say all these great things, and then you realize, oh, they're saying all these great things because at the same moment, it would be my analogy would be like the police policing themselves. They're never going to find themselves wrong. So when the model railroader is doing reviews on a model, they are also getting paid by the manufacturer to advertise.
15 grand for a full page ad. Come on.
Yeah.
Is that how much it costs to do that?
Wow. If you do it monthly, it's more than that. But like if you pay
Well,
for a whole year by month, it's about 15 grand. Well, that's what it was about 6 years ago.
Listen, Bachmann pays me 15 grand. I will tell everybody the product is great. I'm kidding. No.
So can you blame them? Can you blame
no, I'm kidding. I'm not for sale. I'm kidding. They pay me 15 grand. They're just going to be lost out of 15 grand.
Yeah.
They're going to be upset with 15 grand gone.
Yeah.
Signal fan wants to know for Big Al. He says, "What's your favorite scene on your layout?"
My favorite scene. My favorite scene is actually my car accident scene with the lighted emergency vehicles.
Yes.
With the medics there, the fire engine, all lit up. That's my favorite scene on the layout. And I did that years ago. That's probably the coolest part of the layout, visually wise.
Let me ask a question for both of you guys. Do you think that the pendulum is swinging with the advent of scale trains coming on scene? And I when I was at Springfield, I spoke to both those guys there who were very, very enthusiastic. And you could see there, I think they kind of got an inkling of where the hobby price-wise is going. Now, I will tell you from my own personal experience, I went through Springfield, I went through 3 buildings. I couldn't make all 5 because I'm not built for speed, I'm built for comfort. So I just couldn't do all 5 buildings. But I will tell you this. When I was walking around and I was looking at those guys selling that stuff, I was like, man, I couldn't justify paying $37 for a boxcar. I just could not do it. And I happened to come across this older gentleman, and he had this banner across his thing, and it was $5 a boxcar. And I looked at him and I said, my hero, my hero. And I went through his thing and I picked out like 5 or 6. It was about $60. He said, give me $40. I was like, you sure? He goes, absolutely, give me 40. Thank you for shopping. And those are the guys you look for. I mean, that's what I do. So my question to you guys is, do you think that the pendulum is starting to swing the other way, such as with manufacturers like Scale Trains that are coming on the scene where they're trying to price it logically for the average?
I think that they are doing something to fill a need in the hobby or a perceived need, because people are always talking about the price of these things. And I think that you're right, the pendulum is swinging because, Rapido Trains is known as a premium company, kind of like they're not brass, but it's kind of like they're almost brass prices, and they just announced a lower priced line. I think it's like $250 instead of $399 or something like that for a train. So I think it is changing Or no, I think they're filling a need. I don't think it's changing. And so, like, I think a healthy hobby will have options that are on the low end and the high end. And as long as all those fields are all those boxes are ticked, we've got a healthy hobby.
Well, here's my take on it. Two things. First of all, the Springfield Train Show, as it's grown and gotten so big with 5 buildings, I absolutely believe that they need to be 3 days. It needs to be Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, all full days. And hopefully that changes because you could only get so big and there's only so much time. It's too big for the short period of time. So, like you said, you couldn't get through all 5 buildings. Very many years I couldn't get through all the buildings too. I thought there was 4 buildings, maybe there's 5. But I couldn't get through all the buildings myself because it's so big. That's number one. Number two is I don't know if the pendulum's changing. What I think is actually happening is they're doing a test market. So they're testing the market to see how this will work because everyone's complaining about, oh, this outrageous prices. So what they're doing is they're sticking their toes in the water and saying, let's see how these go. If they are big, you'll continue to keep seeing them. If they're not big, they will fizzle away quickly, like Athens Blue Box and their kits they used to have. So right now they're just testing the market. So we won't know the real true result of their new product yet until a couple years or so. So until then, we'll see how
how many new products do they come out with? You know, yeah.
Yeah, you'll see if they continue to keep doing it, then obviously it's successful. If they don't continue to keep doing it, then you know it's really not successful.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know, I saw. I don't know if you guys saw they were on Trainmaster TV. They did a whole series.
I saw that.
I mean, I think they've invested. I think they've financially invested into their company and into what they're doing. And from what I saw on the video from Scale Trains, and it seems that it's a very high emotional end game for them. I mean, I know it's producing a product, and it's, you know, we're in it for the business, and we're in it. You know, it's capitalism at its best. I get that, but I also sensed, even when I was at Springfield and I talked to the 2 gentlemen that were in charge there, I also could see their passion.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something that, you know, I think takes a lot into the equation. Like both you guys are very passionate about your hobby.
That's a good point. That's a good
point. You're both
point.
very passionate, and your passion comes across the screen. It really, truly does. And I'm not saying this to kiss up to you, even though the check is. I know you guys sent the check and it's in the mail. I appreciate it, but right, exactly. But you guys show passion for your hobby, and it comes through, you know. And I think that's what they did. So, you know, I think you're right earlier, Ron, where you said there's the low end and the high end, and somewhere like Al said earlier, you got to find that middle ground where you're comfortable at, you know.
Well, I could say this. I could say that I met Shane when he first joined Athern some years ago, and you know, either it's like me. Either you like me or you can't stand me, right? Well, you're gonna like my personality, and it's gonna grab you, or you're gonna hate it and run away. With Shane, he seems to be universally liked, and I've always enjoyed Shane and talking to him through the years with Athern, and he is passionate as well. So when you see him and Mike take their passion to their own business, it's a great thing because it takes 2 guys that I like, and now they're doing the business end of it. I think they'll do well, and I like them too. So it's a good thing. It's a win-win.
Yeah.
Well,
Rabel Bell says, what does he say? He says, the Diecast 462 Crescent Limited, it was a limited run, and the President Washington limited run, they were the early 1990s. I guess he's going back to what you said. Northwest Rail Fan asked, is it just me or Art, I'm not going to say the whole thing, but James Wright reviews starting to seem more like model railroad reviews? I find it ironic since that's why he started. That's what he started.
He didn't start because of model railroader reviews.
No.
He started because he was. I think that he was getting trains and wanted to get involved with the hobby, but it was military guy and traveled around a lot and couldn't do a layout, so he started doing reviews to stay connected with the hobby. I think the big part of this hobby is passion, like Al just said, and Al just said that he started a business with this hobby and he's working like nuts to, do it because it's making him money, whereas the hobby gave him passion or helped him with his passion. When his business doesn't provide passion or takes away more passion than it's providing, it's time for him to get back to his hobby. Because if you don't have passion, you shouldn't be in a hobby.
I agree 100%. I always said that once it's once it stops being fun, it's time to start taking up stamp collecting.
Yeah, like there's passion of doing a hobby and passion of buying your hobby, and you should really reconcile what those two things are in your life.
Well, I will say this. I'll be 100% honest when it comes to James Wright's reviews. Yes, he is a lot like the Model Railroader. His reviews are mainstream, where he does I don't know if his passion's there, but he does every review for everything that comes out. Now, I'm not passionate about everything, so I don't review everything. He reviews everything. So it's like if a new model's coming out, he's going to review it. And is he getting a lot of them for free? I suspect, but I don't know. He is, in the meaning that he's backed by Trainland. That's his sponsor. So there's backing this man. In order to be backed, you're either getting paid being backed or they're getting you product. You're not backed for no reason. So are they kind of watered down? Yes, they are. But my whole point of videos is not to review things. His point of videos is to review everything. And that's all good for him. That's what he wants to do.
He's really giving you the first HD look of a model, usually, from all angles. Basically giving a toothpick, saying here's this and this and this and this, and if you're about to buy a product, maybe that's worth it to you.
Well,
Bill, can you hear me?
He's a video of the Model Railroader. So like you would see a month before it comes out in the Model Railroader magazine, you'll see his video and see the train right there. So that's what you see.
Bill.
Oh, I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, John.
Okay, I'm still here then.
Yes, you are.
I just want to catch up with the text messages. Last was said I'm gone, so. Yeah.
No, you're here. You're here.
Okay.
Jackie Haywood says that, laugh out loud, LOL. When Al took the Dremel to the MRC Dakota after watching that video, I never considered an MRC anymore. Look at that, Al. Look at the influence that you got with power tools.
Listen, I react pretty much before I think sometimes, but when I shoot videos, when I react, you just happen to see what there is. I was really mad by it, and I cut it up. Yes, I often destroy. If I don't like some things, I often destroy them. And some people either laugh and they love it, or they're like pissed. They're like, "How'd you destroy that? I'm trying to buy a train, and you're gonna give it to me for free." And I'm like, "Well, I'm actually just destroying it. I'm not out to give trains away for free all the time. This is my opinion. It shows you it's real." And I had a fun time cutting that up. I didn't feel guilty either.
I bet you did. Login Logos, hey, JD. JD's the editor-in-chief of our e-magazine, and kudos to you, JD, on this outstanding issue that you did, and your team and your staff. You guys really hit this one out of the park, man. You set the bar really high. And he asked, I tend to trust Al's reviews because he nitpicks and tends to be complete. Perhaps he looks at a model he receives with the same critical eye as I do.
Correct. When I open a model, the first thing I do opening a model, if I'm going to review it, is I print pictures of the actual model. So it gives me a reference to look at this and then look at the model, and then, like he says, I literally take my eyeball. I can almost pop it on, but I take the eye and I just literally look down at the model, and I look and I compare it, and that's kind of that's the first wave of my review, is literally looking really, really well and seeing if there's any differences or if there's anything wrong. And then I do the extra reviews after that. So I do look at it really close.
I think your last review that you did when you got the was it at the Intermountain where it went back to Train World?
That is the MTH, and sadly, I'm so bad. It still hasn't been shipped back to them. They've been calling me, and if Train World is watching, hey, listen, guys, I'm so sorry. It's just sitting. I'm bad. Like, you know, I'm just a procrastinator, so that's why it's not out right
Well,
away.
I honestly think that was a very good review. I mean, I think that you were really on. I mean, you really went over that with. I mean, if you had a 10 scope microscope, you would have put it under that, and you would have highlighted it all. And I thought it was good. And I also thought that you know, Train World's response to that was they put the video up to show that the train was running and what it was. But again, you know, I think what people don't understand sometimes is when you hand that thing over, I mean, I'm sure it's manufacturer's part, you know, what they do, but when you hand it over to the post office and it leaves your hands, you know, I just got a box that was crushed, and all over the box it said fragile, do not
Crush.
you know, red stickers.
Well, two things with that, though. I took offense to them making that second video. And you know why I took offense? Because he sent me a message saying, everyone says if you're sending that to Al Mayo, make sure you make a video that da-da-da-da-da, because they were talking trash, like saying, don't take the word, make a video, so that they were trying to basically
blame you.
Yeah, you know, like look at the model here, it's perfect, and look at the one he says. Don't believe his word. And what it did in reality is it backfired. It showed you everything I pointed out on the model was actually on their model in their video. So it gave me more credible views to everyone. Was like, oh, look, it's right there and there. Yeah. So I'm offended by that because they did that to literally make me look bad. That's first of all. Second of all was another thing I was talking about with the reviews. If you get the model sent to you from the manufacturer, whether it's free or whatever, they're going to send you the very best one. So I kind of find it fun to just shoot out and buy it because there's no preparing for it. You can't go through 8 boxes, find the very best one. I'm going to get whatever's there because you don't know it's for me. You don't know I'm reviewing it. Yeah, therefore, boom, I get the model that everybody else gets. I don't get a perfect model saying this thing is gorgeous, and then 80 other people get it and say it's crappy. I get the actual model.
Right. Right. So, just before we go any further, I just want to make a few plugs here. Ron has a new YouTube channel, and it's called Just Another Scale Modeler. And if you guys want to subscribe or look at his channel, it's on YouTube. It's called Just Another Scale Modeler. And Al, you still have your YouTube channel, correct?
I do. I have Monster Railroad on YouTube. Same address and everything as before.
Okay, so if you guys can go and check out their YouTube channels, somebody just posted your YouTube channel up. Ron seems from in Australia. He's our #1 fan, Ron, and so he seems to be your #1 fan now, Al. So now you're famous in Australia, Al.
Cool.
There you go.
I've got some Australian members there too, so that that message me and on YouTube and everything. Pretty cool.
Yes. Cool. Very good. Guys from Australia, heads up. Greg and Fish Plate Films. And
in fact, I'm sending this out to somebody in Australia on Monday. This is actually somebody, it's an O-scale brass boxcar.
Nice.
Somebody from Australia got it, so it's going in the mail to them.
Way to go. That's good, man. I have to say, and I know that I said this earlier off air with you, Al, before we went on air, when I was at the show, I said to you, you were having so many people come by and buy stuff that all the vendors around you were like scratching their head and going, oh. And they said, I know what it is. It's the do-rag. I got to get do-rag. So next year at Springfield, when I come up and I see everybody walking around with a black do-rag on, I'm going to be like, Al's in the house.
Yeah, well, somebody just texted me and said, take the do-rag off. Hey, maybe you should take the do-rag off. I said, no, that's symbolic to me.
That's you, Al. Al,
so
I'm telling you the truth. If I was walking down in your city, down where you live, I was coming down, and you answered the door without that on your head, I just would have went back in the car and left. And I said, he's not home. There's some other guy living. I don't know who he is. I must have got the wrong address. So
actually, I think Al should do the closeout of the show.
yeah.
That's symbolic too. That's one of my things, you know. I'm known for those.
That's the signature move, man. That's the signature move. Hey, John, let's go back over the giveaways.
Alrighty. Yeah. Okay. Let me see.
I know. And John, I have to tell you, you're doing a wonderful job with Barry not here. You really filled in so nicely.
Alright, I'm going to have to back this up just a second here. Give me... Yeah, I'm not quite as efficient
No, I
as
didn't say that.
Barry is here, but... you know.
Barry, unfortunately, just for you guys that are Barry groupies out there and wanted to see Barry tonight, Barry's doing some train-related stuff, and he couldn't be available for Saturday night. And John was so cordial and so, you know, basically, well, there was no basics. I just said, John, you're doing the show Saturday. I really put an emotion gun to his head and said, you know, so he was like, oh, okay.
Yep.
Because that's how I roll here.
Yeah. That and the fact you said I wouldn't get another raise for 6 years. So.
Yeah, that had a lot to do with it. You know.
All right, you ready to go through the...
Yeah, let's do this.
We got...
Good luck, everybody.
We got 6 HO or N-scale handmade. I think I said homemade the first time there. Handmade oak trees from Long Shadow Mall Trees. That's longshadowmalltrees.com. That was our first giveaway. The second giveaway is the Precision Design Company joint bars, HO or N scale. That's www.pdc.ca. And they do have a really nice product there. We got a lot of people using those. Giveaway number 3 is going to be Dave Decals from Models, Decals, and Stuff. Your choice of 2 sheets of decals. That's www.davart.net. Then we also have the road striping kit from Highways and Byways Arts and Crafts Store. The road striping kit is a package of vinyl stripes for your mile railroad, and these things are really nice. They take weathering very well. That's highwaysandbyways.com. And giveaway number 5 is the Central Valley Mall Works Incorporated punch plate bridge kit. That's a 150-foot HO scale punch plate bridge kit. And they're at www.cvmw.com.
And just to reiterate on that, for Long Shadow trees, right now he's lowered his prices on his trees to $325 for any tree, and there's a 10% discount if you call him on the phone on his phone that's listed on his webpage, and he'll give you that 10% discount. And it's only until March 25th. But I have to tell you, I used as a plug, a shameless plug for Long Shadow trees. If you guys aren't doing mountain scenes and you just need a few trees, he's the guy to go to because he makes some well-made tree. I always believe I'm not a tree guy. I want to spend my time operating my railroad, so I'll let somebody else, and if he's willing to make a buck off it, I don't have a problem with that. He's absolutely reasonable, and he makes a great product. And Dave's Decals, he's having a 10% sale, but you have to put in the secret code word, which is caboose, and you'll get a 10% decal, 10% off his decal sheets if you want to order from him. He's pretty good, makes a good product. I've had him. He's done some custom work for me, and he messed up on it. I'll be honest with you, he did, but he made good on it. So that customer service goes a long way. He was very helpful with that. So Dave, great job and good product out there. So
you ready to do the activating the giveaways?
Activate the giveaway? Sure, go ahead. Activate the giveaway so everybody who's been waiting with bated breath can now.
I can too, eh?
No. Unfortunately, Ron and I, you're exempt. Any other time next month on the show, you can,
I've tried like 20 times.
I know it.
Yeah. Give me 1 second here.
Take two. I'm retired.
Yeah. All right. Here, I got the page up now on how to win. To enter, you go to the YouTubeModelBuilders.com and fill out the live show giveaway form. What you want to do is once you get there, you go to the YouTube Model Builders live show. When you put your cursor on that, the drop-down box comes up, and it's the last entry, the one at the bottom. You click on that, fill out the form with your contact information. He has to do that while I'm trying to be serious here. Thank you. But fill out the form with all the contact information. Any products that require the scale, HO or N scale, be sure and put that in there. And then when we do the drawing, your name will be announced. And Bill, you contact them too later after the show, don't you?
Yes, I do. I send out an email to them and tell them that they need to send me their full name and address so I can give it to the manufacturer.
Yeah. And I know I haven't said it, and I'm fixing to get a whole bunch of comments in the Q&A. What is the password? Well, you going to do it, Bill? You want me to do it? I don't know. I don't know. Well, which one do you want to do? Maybe Al or Ron? Or
no, I think
we kind of build the suspense up here a little bit.
I think the password's in there. I think it's Easter.
Yeah, it's Easter.
Easter.
All lowercase, E-A-S-T-E-R, Easter. That's your password. So when you fill out the form, be sure and put Easter in there so we get the activation on that. Once again, go to YouTubeModelBuilders.com, click on the YouTube Model Builders live show, and at the bottom of the drop-down box is the entry form. Go there and fill it out. Password, Easter, lowercase.
Thank you, John. That was well done. That was well done. Great job, man.
Yeah.
For a minute there, Al's twin brother came in for a moment. I don't know how he did that.
Well, for the people who didn't see, I just took my do-rag off. Somebody texted like, "Oh, what? Take the do-rag off." So I took it off. I was like, "Well, look, here I am. No do-rag." How was that?
Put the do-rag back on, Al.
No, do-rag.
That's the Al we know and love. There you go.
Oh, there's a do-rag back.
All right, Bill, I tell you what, I'm going to let you kind of keep an eye on the Q&A if you don't mind.
No, no problem.
Can you scroll that from your...
Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
Okay, because I want to disappear so I can keep tabs on the
absolutely
giveaway form so I can keep that straight.
Not a problem.
First time out, I don't want to mess it up.
I hear you. I hear you. Logging Locos, JD. He says, I learned to weather my rolling stock the way the Al Mayo way, including his dip method.
Oh, yes, yes.
What is the dip method? I don't...
Weather and dip. I called it Al's dip weathering. It was cool, actually. It's actually cool. What dip weathering is I took a whole bunch of paints, I put it into water, distilled water, and I mixed it up so it was like a mud like but really thin, like the consistency of like milk.
Right.
And what you do is you clear coat a model, you fade it down, and what the weather dipping does is you dip it in, and then I blow dry it, and I blow dry it downward, and what it gives us the effect of is actually sitting outside, and you get streaks that go all down the little cracks and in the little crevices. So most of it actually comes off, but a little bit dries in the cracks and everything. Perfect, easy weathering job. Literally weather dip it. You could do it as many times as you want. You want it to be really, what's the word? Thinned
Subtle?
out. You want it to be thinned out more because if it's really thick, they'll dip it in and it's gonna look like a fudge sickle when you pull it out. You know, you don't want that. You want it to you want most of it to come off, but the residue goes in the crevices and then in between everything, which is cool, and then it dries that way, and you get this realistic weathering that's so real. And you can do that and then do nothing else to it. It's that easy. It's a good technique.
So what do you do? You use regular water-based paint?
Yeah, I actually have some over here. Let me show you. Let's go walk over to my room, my office right here. So as you can see in my little mess here, I have my weather dipping stuff right here. So all it is water-based paint, and it's mixed up into this, and then I pour it into some type of container. And when I'm weathering, I literally just, this stuff is perfect. I dip the model into it. So something like this, I will do the fade. I'll fade it with the spray brush, with the airbrush first. I fade it down with the little mixture I use, which is just white with a little bit of gray and brown in it. I spray it down because if you try dipping it in now, it won't stick to the model because it's that shiny plastic. So you have to do that fade first. And then what happens is the paint sticks to that little spray coating that you put on it, that fading, and it sticks to it perfectly. If you don't spray it first, it will come up in clumps. So that's the technique, and that's what I do.
So if you didn't use the fade, can you do it with
dog coat
finish, the clear?
Well, I do it. I don't know if you could do it any other way, but I don't think so. When you do it with like dual coat and stuff like that, what you're gonna get is it's just not going to look right. Like I recall when I did it a long time ago, it wasn't right.
Okay.
You want it to be with it's the same base paint, but you airbrush it on because it goes on finely, and what it does is it covers that shiny plastic.
Right.
If you didn't do that, like literally, I've done videos before, and you dip it in, and it pulls. It literally pulls and blotches all over the model. It doesn't go into crevices and stuff. So but once you spray it with the fade that I use, the fade spray, and then it covers the whole, it coats the whole thing. You know what I'm saying?
It's actually like a primer.
Yeah, it actually works. It's like Pepto-Bismol. You see the commercial when it goes on the stomach?
Yeah.
Once you spray it, it coats the whole model like Pepto-Bismol.
And that mixture that you made, that mixture that you made, and you pour it into the container where you're going to dip the plastic after you're finished, can you reuse that? I mean.
Yeah, that's why I keep it in a jug there, because
No, I mean the stuff that's in the container, can you pour it back into the jug, or is it?
Yeah, I pour it back. That's what that's there for. I pour it right back. Once I'm done doing my weather dipping, I just pour it right back into there. I usually put it in a large cup that's large enough, just nice large cup, and I dip the model into it, and then I put the model on top of the cup, so it's like hanging on the cup like this.
Right, exactly.
And then I blow dry it downwards, and that's how I do it. And then once I'm all done, I take that cup, dump it back in, close it up, and it's all set.
Cool.
Simple.
So you just blow dry it and you don't hit it with your sponge or anything?
Nope. Well, I just blow dry it dry, and then I'm done.
Yeah.
It's that easy. And then if you do it and you want it dirty or thicker, you do it a few times.
Yeah.
That's the quickest and easiest weathering technique ever. I mean, just so you don't put a shiny model on the layout, you do that, perfect. You could do every model like that, and it's going to look better than having shiny plastic on your layout. 100% fact.
Yeah.
Just before you guys start, Curtis Hunt, he says, I can't find the link for the gifts. Curtis, if you go to www.youtubemodelbuilders.com, it should be there. Okay? Right. And the eMag should be out soon. Someone asked, Jason Volk wants to know when the eMag is going to come out. It should have been out, or it should be out this weekend at least. And JD, Login Logos, wants to know, would love to meet Al at some point, perhaps on a hangout. Yeah, we do hangouts, Al. We do hangouts on Tuesdays, and we have regular hangouts where we have, right now we're having Miles Hale and Bill Baronic. Bill Baronic is a.k.a. known as the Track Planner. He's the guy who's designed most of everybody's track plans out there, and he's a big prototypical operations guy, and he does these fantastic Tuesday night hangout, and he talks about operations and how operations works and why everybody should be into operating instead of letting their trains run around in a circle and being a rail fan. He's really educational, and you know, he really is a nice guy, and he's really passionate about his hobby. And Miles Hale is. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I respect that too. I respect him for that, and I respect that part of it. But that's totally what I'm into. I'm not into that prototypical. I'm a rail fan modeler. I actually like when I go to train layout. When I go to see real trains, rail fanning, I see a train fly by, and I'm not seeing switching and stuff like that.
Right.
So I model what I see, which is trains running around and fun stuff like that. So I'm not into prototypical stuff. Never been. Right. I used to get in trouble going to other people's layouts when everyone's going prototypical speed, and I'm highballing all the time. The owner would always come walk over. Al, you over there highballing again? I'm like, yeah, I can't help it.
I got a good friend of mine, the guy that helped me build this. I'm going to mention his name, and I don't care if he gets pissed off. Darren Brady. Darren Brady's me and him coached baseball for years. We were managers on the same baseball team. Darren came and helped me build my layout, and Darren is not. Darren, one time, he says to me, "What happens if the train comes off the track? What do you do?" I said, "Well, what you do is you go and you switch out the switcher engine. You get the switcher engine, and you get the crane, and you switch it out, and you bring it as close as you can to the derail." And he looked at me and he says, "Are you out of your friggin' mind?" He said, "Just pick the friggin' thing up." I said, "No, that's not how you do it." He goes, "I don't care." And he's the type of guy. He's the type of guy that he comes to my house and he's like, "Can we crash trains?" Not $300 per trip.
If it's me, I'm going to show you how to actually crash the train. I'm going to show you how to derail it on purpose.
When we go off air, Al, give me your address, and you can't miss him. He's a little guy, Irish guy, and as soon as he opens his mouth, you'll know he's from New York because every other word out of his mouth is F this. And great guy, though. Great guy. Great guy. Great guy. He's my bestest friend in the whole world. I'm not afraid to say it. We coached baseball for years together. We put some championship teams out there. So, what? Yeah. Well, you know, to each his own. I agree with you, Al. I mean, I see your point of view. To each his own. I'm one of those prototypical guys. My layout is a switching layout.
Yep.
Everything is, is prototypical. I'm not one of the. Me personally, I don't like to watch a train go around. I don't even like to go rail fanning.
Did you ever see one of my videos where the two trains? It starts off with two trains going opposite directions, and it's all edited, and then you see them coming just like this, and then just before they hit, it cuts off.
Yes.
I'm like, no, what's going on? And then everyone's like, oh, what happened? I show all the trains on the side and everything. Well, in that video, I didn't show the whole thing happen because it was less dramatic than you would expect. It was like this. They go like this. They go. That's it. They didn't like crash and go flying everywhere as I expected. It was a brass locomotive and a plastic one. I was like, let's see which one wins. And it was like dramatic because you see each scene going by the whole thing. Yeah. Well, it wasn't dramatic. So when I actually crashed them, they just stood there. So I stopped the film and I knocked everything over and flipped it all over, made a chaotic scene, and that was how it ended through the magic of editing.
Yeah.
Yes. Editing is a good thing.
It'd be a little anticlimactic if you just saw him go doof.
Yeah.
Yeah. And to get back, we also have Miles Hale on. Miles Hale comes every other. And Miles is doing a thing where he's visiting people's layouts, other modelers' layouts. The last time he was on, we had Larry Alfred on, and he showed his. Larry Alfred does two scales. He does an O scale and an H. I believe an HON3, if I'm not mistaken. But they're two separate scales in one room where he has them separated, and you don't ever see any of them together. Only through a what do they call those? Window box that he had built on his layout, where they actually cross each other this way. But his next visit is the next show up. I have a list of it. But that's what we do. So we do hangouts. And on Thursday night, we have to hang out with John. And John does his Thursday night. It's a general discussion. So you're more than welcome. Just look on Facebook or, on Google Plus on our webpage and stuff like that, and you see it, and it's pretty good. It's a free content. We give everything away for free. We don't charge anybody, and it's a meeting of the minds. Mine is a little small, so I don't have much to contribute, but we still do get it out there.
Cool. I'm down with that. Yeah, I could do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So, and I'm trying to see.
I used to do a lot of Skype group stuff like that. I used to do that a few years ago now. But
I remember when you used to do that.
Yeah, I've enjoyed doing that. It was fun. The only reason I stopped kind of doing it all the time was Skype was new or newer, and it was always having problems. So I didn't do it as much, but I enjoyed it. I used to do it often and enjoyed it. It was a blast.
Yeah, Ron says that. He says, me and Al go back to the time when he ran Skype Hangouts.
Yeah, see that? So he knows. So Ron goes back there.
Yeah.
He's the Australian member there.
Yes.
Yeah. I do know.
You about ready to do a pick? I think the entry's pretty well slowed down, Bill.
How many do we have?
22.
22. Okay, let's pick them out. That's John.
Over here and
This is the part where Mr. Roboto comes in.
Yeah, you heard that?
RDT2.
Yeah.
oh, R2 again.
Yeah.
Domo arigato, Mr. Roboto.
What you do a song against Bill, I always things down.
Right on cue.
No, it's still coming out robotic.
Was that his voice coming out robotic?
Yeah.
Yeah, over the thing.
I would have started rapping.
Beatboxing.
Yeah, I'd have tried a beatboxing robot voice. I'd have tried that.
You didn't know John is
That's
our
new
resident,
stuff, John.
John's our resident rapper from.
It's hot. Here we go.
I like to see how that sounds in robotic terms right there. Probably sounds crazy.
Yeah.
You
Try
with?
to
I love when
Hi.
Mr.
Can you hear me now, Bill?
Yes,
Yeah.
I can, loud and clear, 5 by 5.
Give me just 1 minute here. I'm trying to get the names wrote down so I can come back over and give them to you. I'm not as good at this as Barry is, so I'm having to kind of.
You're doing fine. If the internet was working for you, we'd be all great.
Yeah, the robotic thing I can't do anything about.
It's
right
Murphy. It's Murphy.
Yeah, it's Murphy. Mr. Murphy showing up again.
now. Yeah.
Technology is a wonderful thing until it stops working.
So, Al, do you know what the total attendance to Springfield was this year? It's kind of like 20,000.
Yeah, I posted it. It was like 19,300 or something like that. I didn't know the exact numbers, but it was something close to that, 19,000 and change, which was more than last year. Last year was like maybe 15,000. But I seem to recall some years being like 23, 24,000.
That's kind of interesting to hear that they've added a building and they're not increasing in numbers. Maybe it'll.
I think they would increase if they opened for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I think the numbers would increase. Therefore, spreading the amount of days people can come.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be very important they do a 3-day show. I mean, maybe they'll plan on doing it one day soon.
With attendance like that, they could do 2 weekends in a row, for crying out loud.
Right.
You know, that was my first foray into that kind of a show like that, and I that was real. And I tell you, it was overwhelming sensory wise. I mean, when you walk in and see all those people and all those manufacturers and all those display booths, you just, you're like, and you think you bring the empty credit card or you bring the cash with you. And I to be quite honest, I didn't spend as much money as I thought I would, other than for the hotel that I had. And I did Miles' clinics. I went on Wednesday, so I did the clinics with him on Thursday and Friday, and then went to the show. But I didn't spend that much money in the show itself,
Right.
But I thought it was just like, I mean, there was so much to see. In fact, I shot a few videos, and then when I went back over the video on my YouTube channel, I could actually hear it in my voice. I was like a bit overwhelmed. I was like, you guys got to see this. You really got to see this. You don't believe how big this video is not doing you justice.
So to see the information, you're trying to bring it all in. It's just so much, It is. It's overwhelming in a good manner. It's like, oh my God, there's so much here.
Yeah.
The remarkable thing about it, I think, is that I've been around a few manufacturers who've gone and presented there, like Al did, and they've all told me how the operation is professional, how professional they are, and how easy it is to work with the Amherst Society to get a table and all that stuff.
Yeah, when we were at the hotel when Miles was doing the clinic, the guy who runs it and his associates came to the hotel where we were staying just to introduce themselves to us, and they were just so forthcoming, and you could tell that their heart was into what they were doing, and everybody who met there who was involved in the show was absolutely.
And if you look at the Amherst Society website, that show contributes to restoring engines, and it's given back to the hobby to a certain degree. I don't know how much, but it is fed back into the hobby.
But I think they also, part of the proceeds go back into the community itself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So it is a really great operation.
I always tell everyone every year that it's for me, for grown-ups who are in the model trains, it's Christmas every year. Is the Amherst Train Show. I look forward to it for all year long, just like kids look forward to it for Christmas. Well, I always have a blast there. I just wish it was longer. I always wish it was longer because it goes by so quick.
Yes, it does.
I'm ready, Bill.
Go ahead. Let's do this.
You ready?
I'm ready.
How do you want to list them out? You want to start with giveaway 1 first or giveaway 5 first?
No, giveaway 1 is good.
All right, giveaway 1 is for the 6-pack of oak trees. That is for John Reb. That Rietveld. Hopefully I pronounced that right.
Okay, John Reb.
Giveaway number 2 for the joint bars. That is Dave Lemke, Lemke.
Congrats.
Congrats is right.
Yes. Giveaway number 3 for the decals is Bernard Helen.
Congrats, Bernard.
What is that for?
Decals.
Is
Dave's decals.
And who's that again? I'm sorry.
Bernard Helen.
Okay.
Congrats to Bernard.
Yeah.
Yes. Giveaway number 4, the striping kit. Jim Ross.
Oh.
Congrats, Jim Ross. Shout out.
And for the
shout out.
Giveaway number 5, the punch plate bridge kit.
Ow, man.
Nah, wasn't even close. Ray Bobel.
Ray, good man, Ray Bobel, good man. Let's see.
Congrats, Ray.
Everybody. Congratulations to all the winners. I'll be in touch after the show to either tonight or tomorrow morning. I will send down a email to you.
We didn't do the giveaway for the brass locomotive.
I didn't know you were doing that.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
There's a BMW one too, isn't there?
That's outside there. No, keep it.
Yeah.
I just got this. I can't do a brass giveaway for it yet.
Al, do you know what's going to happen right now after this is over? Everybody's going to be emailing me. When are you giving that brass away?
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna...
LEDs first. I don't know. I'm actually, I do crazy things like that one day, maybe.
Hey, listen, there's a guy on that's a vlogger. His name is Casey Neistat. If you guys get a chance, he doesn't.
Yeah, I watch that guy.
Yeah, I'm a subscriber to him. He gave away these 5 giveaways. He gave the electric skateboard away. He gave a complete Canon camera set away. He gave a drone away as a giveaway, and he said these weren't. I bought these out of my own pocket. He says, and I checked out the camera equipment stuff. The Canon HD 80. That equipment he gave away was like close to like $3,000.
Wow.
And the electric skateboard that he gave away was $1,400.
I know some people in YouTube, and I heard that there was $100,000 paid to that guy to go to Samsung's event.
Yes.
$100,000 to go to the Grammys or Oscars or something.
Oscars.
Yeah.
Why was he paid $100,000?
Because he's a YouTuber.
Okay, so if I spent that type of money, you could be impressed. But someone like that spending that kind of money is chump change.
Yeah.
If you got paid $100,000 to go to something like that, he's got sponsors of money going in.
I'd appreciate a brass engine from you much more than him.
Yes.
You know it's out of my pocket, and it wasn't just a walk. Like, oh, no big deal.
Big smile on my face. I'd take it.
Yeah. I think I'm up to around 15 now, so I don't have. There's some people out there that I hear that have 100 and stuff like that. I'm like, wow, I have like 15, and it's cool, but only 15. But I only buy ST70Ms and ST70ATs and brass. I don't buy anything else. No other ones. Just those 2 brands, those 2 locomotives. Always my favorite.
Well, I hate to cut this party short, but I want to thank Al Mayo for being on this show tonight. I really do appreciate it, Al. It was great having you. It was great meeting you in person. Personality, just a warm guy, and just want to thank you for being on here and being honest. And Ron, as always, with the children's thing, if you guys want, go to Just Another Scale Model on his YouTube channel. Also check out his. Where can they find out about it's a GoFund thing too if they want to contribute to this?
GoFundMe Trains for Kids, or GoFundMe.com/Trains for Kids.
It's a worthy cause, guys. It's something worth doing. If you're dropping money hand over fist on the stuff that we talked about tonight, what's $20 going to kids? And it's going for a good cause. And it's going for a very, very good cause. So please do it. And Al Mayo, he sells his Monster LED kits. Give him a look-see. Throw some business his way.
Not too much because I'm already swamped, guys.
I heard he installs too. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what we heard. We heard he's
about that type of work, Hey, but if you contact me, just to chat up or ask questions, I'm always available too. So I always put my email address out there. It's THAMAY@yahoo.com. And I always put it out there so people can send me messages about all types of things. And I get messages all the time, just people asking questions about how to do something on a layout or things like that, or just to say what's up. Message me anytime. Feel free to.
Well, thank you guys for being on. And just one more thing. Al's a firefighter out in Connecticut and for the city of New London. And as a former New York City Transit Authority employee, I used to get the NYFD down there all the time. And those guys never came on the track unless we cut the third power. And I always used to break their shoes and say, but you guys have bigger rubber boots than I do. Really, man up, guys, man up. Service, Al. And Ron, thank you so much for being a part of this. And to
Thanks for
John,
having me.
John, double thumbs up, brother. You did a great job, man.
Yeah,
You did a
thank you,
great
Bill.
job tonight.
Not quite as fast as Barry on the trigger here.
Doesn't matter, man.
You did a great job, Mr. Roboto.
It was slow. It was slow and go, and that's exactly. Sometimes it was just good. You did a great job. And once again, guys, thank you so much for being on this show. And I want to thank the viewers for watching and participating tonight. And congratulations to all the winners that took part in the giveaway. And remember, we have an e-magazine that comes out every 2 months, and we also do the Hangouts on Tuesday, and Thursdays. And Thursdays is John's Hangout. It's a general discussion, so please feel free to look on the Google Plus page and also on our Facebook page.
So the Tuesday night's only every other week now, Bill.
Oh, every other week. I do apologize for that.
Yeah.
Every other week on Tuesday night. And we have Miles Hale and Bill Baronic and other great guys that come on. So please tune in and take care. God bless. And like I always say, we'll see you guys on the radio. Take care and good night.
Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.